Hey everybody, welcome back to the High Performance Zone. Today, we're talking about the power of movement and human connection. We're talking about irrational optimism and why it's important to talk to strangers, hang upside down, and dance while you cook. Now, this is with the esteemed Dr. Carmen Terzic, who is the director of cardio rehab at the famed Mayo Clinic. She's actually one of the chairs there. And we'll talk about what is it like to have activity and movement in our day. And we bring in the psychosociological way of glad to be here, of appreciation and gratitude, and how to not only help yourself when you've overcome an event, but more importantly, to stay healthy. We'll even talk about the future of medicine. So let's get down to it with Gucci and Blaze. Ready? Hit it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the High Performance Zone. Today I have a dear close friend and one of the best professors of all healthcare at Mayo Clinic, and it's Dr. Carmen Terzic. We're going to call her Millie. Millie, welcome to the zone.
Thank you very much, Gucci. I'm really very happy to be here with you. As you say, you're one of my dearest friends as well.
Carmen, we met in Vail, I think Vail, Colorado. How many years ago was that? Do you remember?
I think 8 years ago.
8 years. Yeah. And we've gotten together pretty much every year since then.
Yes.
And I've learned so much from you. And so I'm so grateful for you to take the time to help our listeners. And here's what I was thinking, Carmen. There are so many backdrops to what you did. You came from Venezuela. You were a fencer on the Olympic team. All right. I want to dive into that. And now one of the top professors and doctors in Mayo, helping people on the cutting edge of stem cells and cardiovascular and rehabilitation. And I know you had me come in when you were the chair and had a chance to speak to some of your people. So I want to unpack. What I really want to start with, though, is talk to me about being a fencer for Venezuela in the Olympics. Tell me, what's that like, first off?
So I started fencing when I was around 8 years old. Yeah. My father was a sport avid, and actually he was a professor, a teacher in physical education, and he loved all type of sports. So he said, when I will have a boy, I want this boy to be a fencer. So he had 3 girls. So
perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So he brought me to the fencing gym area when I was 8 years old, and I met my dear professor, and I always see him as one of my other father. Professor Clemente Piñero was my fencer teacher and coach and professor, and it was a blast. I mean, I always said that what I am now as a person and is because of the experience that I have as a fencer, the team approach, and you know about that a lot, but the team approach, the collaboration, the cooperation, the supporting each other, thinking about we instead of I. And this really shape, as I said before, what I am now. So this is one of, when people ask me, what is your experience about fencing? This is what I think. I don't think about the medals, about the traveling, being the national team, Team Venezuela. I always think about what I learned as a person, and the interaction. That was also a wonderful, wonderful experience. And yes, I was part of the national team. I traveled, I went to many competitions. But again, I would like to bring it to what the sport brought to me. And again, this team approach to life, this team approach to leadership, when I had the opportunity to be a leader, that I learned a lot from my fencing time.
Now, what was your discipline in fencing? Because there's multiple disciplines, right?
I'm old enough that at that time for women there was only foil, so I did foil. But yes, now the women can do saber, pay, and foil, all the three arms. But at that time was only foil. So I did individual and a team approach.
How did you prepare? And I'm getting to being the transition from being a world-class fencer and being a world-class doctor and being a world-class person that's changing healthcare. What was your preparation like in fencing versus how you prepare now?
Discipline, I think, was another important aspect. So I want to do both. I want to be a fencer, a competitive fencer. I like to win. So I was not happy when I lost. But at the same time, I want to be a good student and prepare myself to be a good physician. So it took a lot of dedication, time, and discipline. But I love it. I love it what I was doing. But when I think about how I did it, I wake up in the morning, early in the morning to study. I like to study, to take my books and to study in the morning. So 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock a.m. I was studying, then go to my class from 8 a.m. to 4, 5 p.m. And from there, from the classes at the university, at the Maker School, I went directly to fence. And I was fencing from 5 to 9 p.m. or sometime 10 p.m. Then came home and again, be ready to go to sleep, rest, and wake up early in the morning to study again. So it, as I said, the discipline was there. The support of my parents, I couldn't do this by myself because I was just dedicating to fencing and make a school. My mother took care of everything, every aspect of the rest of my life. And my father also was a support, of course, my big fan. And this, I think, that helped me to prepare and to be able to excel in both areas. It was, sometimes I was tired, so it was really exhausting, specifically when you were preparing for some competition or when I was preparing for a big test. But I had the support by my family, support by the Maker School. They really did some concession and allow me to take tests in a different time if I couldn't. And this allowed me to do these two activities. Yeah.
Well, and then you transition. Here's what I want to get at, because right now, as the director of cardiovascular rehabilitation, right, at Mayo, this is one of the top healthcare systems in the world. You are on the cutting edge. And what are you seeing there now? What are we seeing when it comes to exercise, when it comes to cardio, when it comes to rehabilitation? What is it that you're seeing is going to make the difference in people's lives?
Yes, I always, when I talk with my patient, not only in the cardiac rehabilitation area, but when I see them for other medical reasons, I mean, I do physical medicine rehabilitation too. So I see patients sometimes with low back pain or with a knee pain or shoulder problems. But this group of patients, as well as the patient that I see in the cardiac rehab, the majority of them are patients that they just have a cardiovascular event, either a heart attack or they have a cardiac surgery. So they really need to introduce lifestyle changes in order to prevent that the second event will come. So when I talk with them, I always bring the point that exercise is the best medicine. And this is really no discussion about that. Is the positive effect of exercising every single cell in our body is amazing. And we can spend hours and hours talking about that, but I will summarize that exercise is good for your brain function, for memory issues, prevention of Alzheimer's diseases such as Parkinson's disease. It's good for hypertension, to prevent hypertension or to control high blood pressure. For patients with diabetes of a high glucose level or sugar level, for patients with arthritis, either rheumatologic arthritis or inflammatory arthritis or degenerative arthritis, for patients, again, with cardiovascular diseases, for prevention of cancer, to help with your sleep, insomnia, for depression, anxiety, stress, and for overall your well-being. So the pain control, chronic pain. We know that exercise is one of the best treatment for chronic pain. And one of the reasons is that when we exercise, we release hormones called one of them endorphin that is really help to control the pain. And it's an anti-inflammatory effect. So it's amazing the positive effect of exercise. Is the best medicine, is the cheapest one, and it's the one that is most underutilized. And I think one of the main reasons is because difficult to incorporate, exercise in your daily routine as we are so busy now in our life.
Well, let's unpack, what does exercise mean? So, I mean, you just painted the case of this can help almost everything that we're being challenged with from a healthcare but also the mental aspect, right? Our memory. But when you say exercise, what does that mean to you? And more importantly, to people out there who want to stay healthy. Let's say you're already healthy, but you want to stay healthy or get in better shape. Let's start there. What should we be doing?
And prevent diseases. Yes. Yeah. So it's a good question, because people think about exercise and immediately they think about gym, equipment, heavy weight. And actually the real word is to be active.
Active.
To be active. There is several studies showing that if you go to the gym and kill yourself for 2 hours, but then you go home and just sit, either because you work in an office or you work or you just sit and like to watch TV, basically what you did in the gym it's a loss of time. Yes, it's
really. So what do we need? Movement? Do we need?
Yes, so you need to incorporate movement during the day. Yes, also it's good to take time and walk or bike or any type of exercise, swimming, it doesn't matter. But it's good to take a 30 or 40 minutes a day and continuous exercise. But the most important is that during your day, you incorporate activities. For example, you can do meetings while you're walking. Either outside in the summer, or in your office, you can walk. You can put your earphone and just walk. Dance while you're cooking. You can put music on while you're cooking. Yes.
Now, Carmen, wait, we're going to unpack this because I've seen you dance.
I
have seen you dance. You have that Latin dance in you. Where did that come from? Tell me how come you like dancing so much? Let's get into dancing and exercise.
We said in Venezuela, I'm coming from Venezuela, as you said before, we said in Venezuela that our children, our babies learn to dance before walking. And I'm not kidding. Yes, it's true. The music is an important element of our culture and our life. I remember in my home, my mother, and still, the first thing that she does in the morning when she wake up after washing herself is putting the radio, putting music. And Saturday and Sunday, the entire day we dedicated to listen music and discuss about music, every type of music. In fact, because our taste was so different between my father, my mother, my sisters, and myself, we have as a rule that everybody have 1 hour a day during Sunday to put the music that you want, and nobody could complain, and everybody will accept the music of the others.
And what was yours? What did you like?
Oh, mine was a mix. I like rock, I like classic too, and I like the classic Latin American music, the old music from the 50s and 60s. But my sister, the second one, she is a heavy metal rock.
No, really?
And that was a little bit tough sometimes. And you can listen in for 10, 15 minutes, they boom, 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 high volume, but nobody could say anything. So that was the rule.
Well, now, when you say dance, because I'm sitting here, I got a stand-up desk, right? So I'm standing up because I want to keep that movement going too, right? And when you think about movement and dance, part of my morning routine, I have this bending and stretching and reaching and then circulating, getting motions in your hips and your neck and all that. And it just feels good, but I don't know why it works. Why does that make me feel better if I start to move, do a downward dog when I wake up, some sort of stretching? Why does that help?
Because it is improving the flow of blood to your muscles, your ligaments, your bones. Yes. And that's one of the main reasons.
And that blood, you're helping the heart, right? Get the blood. How about your lymph system? Does it help in that regard? The lymph?
Yes, of course. Yes. Because in the morning, you have been lying down in your bed with no movement, and this tend to produce some stiffness, in your ligament, your muscle. And when you wake up in the morning and you stretch, then besides increasing the flow of blood and oxygen, also it's improve the elasticity of your musculoskeletal system. You see the cats after when they wake up, the cats stretch. Yes.
Well, here's what I always thought, babies and animals, watch how they wake up, right?
Mm-hmm.
They stretch. I just had our two, you haven't seen our Rhodesian Ridgebacks. We got two new dogs now, by the way, these big Rhodesian Ridgebacks. And I'll send you some pictures. But when they get out of bed, the first thing they do is they do, their stretch, their dog. And I've started to do it with them. It's so funny, Carmen. I'll get down on my hands and knees and I'll start to do a downward dog and they'll look at me and they'll do one. And we start doing these stretches together. It feels good. It feels good. How about reversing the energy in your body? Remember when I would be flying those jets, I loved to fly upside down and I never knew why. It just felt, at first it was very awkward, you're not used to it. But then the more that I was upside down, the better I felt. And then you start going 500 miles per hour, 100 feet off the ground, and you put in this negative G. All of a sudden I realized I started feeling better. So now I stand on my head. I do headstands. Now, is there any medicine? Is there any science behind reversing the blood flow or your body, the energy in your body?
Yeah, not that I know specifically there is any scientific study have showed that, but definitively we know that increasing your blood flow in your brain, and this is one of the positions, it helps. Also, it helps also stretching because you are stretching in that position as well. And you do the reverse, I do more than hanging, and allow the body weight to pull all my joints in my neck, in my shoulder, in my back. And this is also, it felt good because it helped to stretch some of the area that sometimes it's difficult.
And you do that on a bar?
Yes, on a bar. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it where you put your knees on there and you hang upside down?
I have done it, but in the past. Not now. So Carmen, I know my limit.
I got this great story. So my mom, I was like you, I came from a really great family and a lot of support. And I remember that my mom told this story because I don't remember it. I was about 4 years old, right? And I was playing out in the backyard and there was these monkey gyms set up, I guess, a couple of houses away. All of a sudden, the door, knock on the door. My mom tells a story. The garbage man is there. And he goes, hurry, quick, come quick. Your son's in danger. So she's scared, right? As a kid, right? And she runs over and there I am on the monkey bars at the highest level, hanging by my knees upside down. And she looked at him and she goes, oh, he's fine. He can handle that. I thought, what a cool mom.
Yeah.
Gave me confidence to do that kind of stuff. But let's get into go ahead. You're about to say something.
No, maybe we're going to say the same thing. I want to go back into the activity.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, because I think it's very important because, again, people think that, well, I don't have access to a gym. I live in a place that the weather is so bad. I don't want to drive. No, you can do it at home. You can be active. Use your stair up and down several times when you're listening music and you're dancing up and down stairs. And do your garden, do the snow removal by yourself. Do all of these activities if you can. Dance when you are cooking. Stretch yourself when you are brushing your teeth. So you can incorporate activities in your daily life. And at work, I always tell my patient, don't take the elevator from down up. If you're working, there's some people that live in New York and they work in the floor number 100, so it's realistic, but at least get out from the elevator at 10, 5, 10, or start with 2 floors before your office is located, and then do the stairs. So do that as much as you can. Park your car far away from the entrance in a store, in your grocery store. Force yourself really to move, to do activities. And I think that's clean your own house if you can. So instead to pay somebody to do that, do your cleaning, and all of these activities count and are beneficial for your body.
So if I were to time my activities, how much activity? I like what you're saying because it's every day. It's not like, I'm going to do a stretch routine here for 10 minutes. What you're just talking about is find ways in your normal life to increase. What are we trying to increase with the activity? What is it that I'm trying to, am I building muscle? Am I building my cardio, my heart? What is it?
Yeah, you are helping your cardiovascular system.
Okay.
If you want to build muscle, then yes, activities will help. If you're sitting all day, of course, there is atrophy of the muscle, or you accelerate the process of sarcopenia, which is an aging. It's part of the aging process where the muscle your muscle lose mass. So if you don't move it, of course, you lose it. But if you want to build more muscle, then you have to challenge a little bit with more resistant exercise. So that's different. But the activities that we are talking before, those are good for your cardiovascular system and help not only your cardiovascular system, help with your metabolism, well-being, the muscle, the joint. It will prevent, for example, you're sitting for a long period of time, you're putting so many force in your back, so you can damage your spine or accelerate any degenerative process in your spine. So standing and moving will decrease the amount of force that go to your spine during the day. So it have all these multi-type of benefits. Now, if you want to challenge you more, if you want really you already have a disease, you want to control blood pressure, sugar, and you already have a history of cardiovascular issue, then sometimes being active is very important, but you have to push a little bit your cardiovascular system, your muscle. And this is when we are talking about dedicating 30 to 40 minutes, at least 5 times a week, where you just focus, you focus to do aerobic component of exercise anytime, biking, walking with inclination, elliptical, swimming, it doesn't matter, but an activities that will raise your heart rate for at least 30 to 40 minutes.
What level should I be at?
Everything will depend on the individual. That's, I think, that will be important to talk with the physician, because depend of your condition, your past medical history, so the target heart rate, it will vary. So I recommend, if you individual never have done exercise, to discuss with their primary physician before, and then try to find the right intensity of the exercise. And then strengthening exercise at least two or three times a week. And this is very important, specifically, I mean, for everybody, but exercise decrease the loss of bone density. So women, after we get into menopause, there is a high risk of osteoporosis, and strengthening exercise, decrease that risk, or at least slow down the natural process of loss of bone density. So that is very, very important. And then stretching exercise, we talked already about that, increasing the flow of oxygen and blood to your body. And balance exercise. So falling and falls is one of the, I don't remember exactly the statistic now, but few years ago was like the 7 or 8 cause of death in the United States, and the complication after falling. Not immediately trauma. Some of them die with the trauma, but the complication after. So there was a nice study showing that if you were older than 65, 70 years old and you have a fall, 50% of this individual could be dead in 2 years.
In 2 years?
Yes, because of the whole consequence, the fears of moving, that you decrease the movement, the activities, and this start affecting the entire body. It's like a downhill effect.
So then a combination of exercise to help from osteoporosis, right? To keep the bones strong, but also balance, like right here, I'm standing on one leg, right? Trying to maintain my balance. And
that is a nice exercise you can do in the elevator. Standing one leg and then change to the other leg.
Hey, have you ever done that, but not turned around? I did this once as a kid. We're playing around. You know how when you walk in an elevator, everyone naturally turns around and faces the door. But if you ever walk in and just don't turn around, it makes people uncomfortable, including
Yes. And talking about that, because it's a different behavior, there was an article in one of the national newspaper. I was reading about that yesterday, that they are challenging you. They said one of your new resolution of this year is talk more with a stranger in the street.
Oh,
And this, there is some studies showing that's really help you with your overall well-being and psychological, status and depression. And it's interesting. It's interesting that I never thought about that. They say just have a conversation with strangers. I mean, have it with your family and friends. Try to be more communicative. Not so much about texting, but face to face or phone. But try with stranger and give you 1 week, 7-day challenge that you will talk with everybody that you see in the street. And let's see how you feel. So I was thinking about doing the elevator, getting to the elevator and start engaging in a conversation with everybody in the elevator. And I have done this in the past, and some people feel uncomfortable and they don't answer.
No, I like that. Did the study give any reasons to why? So what you're saying is that connection, human connection, we all need that so bad, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think about like the blue zones, right? They talk about different people living longer. And it seems like this personal connection is so important to people, but I never heard about it with strangers. What's the idea behind the strangers?
I think the idea is because you feel less like responsible to have to keep an intelligent or meaningful conversation. Could be just, how are you doing today? How was your holiday? And then just feel that you are connecting with people that you don't know. Secondly, that you can learn a lot from people. Depending on the answer and how they engage, you can learn. And it have been, again, many studies showing that people feel so nice when they learn something new. At the end of the day. So, and then the third, they think that during this period of COVID, we have been so isolated, and then people get more isolated by connecting through phone, but not real face-to-face and touch connection. So they say, just try, maybe this will help you to overcome all these years of isolation that we have.
Interesting. Hey,
but you're right. It's because of the nature of the human being, a social animal, and we are losing that. And I mean, we are forcing us not to do that, not losing. But our nature is to be social, and this is going to impact us. I believe that it's impacting already, and it's going to bring more consequence, specifically in the new generation that they are getting more used to communicate it using all device. That's my opinion.
No, I'm with you. The whole idea of human interaction. I know I always like a phone call. I think there's so much more can come across, and then specifically like us here with Zoom, where I can see you smile, I can see your nonverbal communication, right? So when it comes to that, what should we be thinking about from a health standpoint of how to communicate with people, how to bring your heart into it, not just your head, right?
Yes. So I think that beside words, as you say before, the body aspect of the communication is very important. And we can see this. I mean, when we sit down with a patient and trying to connect with the patient, we immediately can feel if the patient is reserved or is guarded. And that is very important for you to understand that behavior and trying to overcome that in order to create a good patient-physician relationship. And this is applied again in any other type of relation. So I believe that the face-to-face and the phone, where you can listen the voice change, the intonation, the fluctuation, I think this is very important. It's very difficult to really express your inner feeling with words. Yes, words can do that, but what is beyond the words sometimes is difficult to express. At least for me, I'm a person that beside words, it's important to feel face to face the friends, the other human with whom I want to interact.
Yeah, and then compassion and empathy, I think, becomes easier when you feel somebody, right? You can feel their heart. Hey, let's talk about real quickly. I want to get back to this idea of frail, right? You've done a lot of work on people who are frail. What is if someone is struggling and they feel like they're starting to get frail, besides exercise, what else should we be thinking about?
Well, frailty is really a condition that can affect anybody. Normally, it's more frequent in elderly.
Yeah.
And is defined as we are losing the capacity to overcome any factor that may affect our body, or any injury or any stress. So our body is losing a little bit the capacity to overcome that, and recovery from any stress, or it could be physical, mentally, or both. So elderly, of course, as part of the aging, we start losing this capability, but also it can happen in young people that have multiple medical condition, comorbidities, people that have been in the hospital for a long period of time, people that had COVID. So the body is just so exhausted, so tired, that the whole system has lost a little bit the capacity to fight and to overcome stressor. So that is a little bit of the definition of frail. So in other words, everybody can be frail. And the other important thing is frail can be changing. So you or me can be frail today because of any, let's say, medical condition. But when we are cured, or we take care of what caused our disease, you can reverse and you can be back to what you were before. So that is important. It's not a terminal disease. It's really a disease that can be reversed, or a condition that can be reversed. And your question, exercise as today, and I want to mention something else, that now is when we are understanding more what is frailty. And so more will come. But as today, there are two interventions that we can do. And one is the exercise. An interesting strengthening exercise is the one that have been shown to
weights,
overcome
something of resistance training.
Of resistance,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
And balance exercise.
Incredible. And balance. So
how
resistance
balance,
and balance.
Yeah. Because balance also, it will give you a feeling of security. Okay. When you're doing your activity of daily living, and decrease of vulnerability, because frail people feel very vulnerable. They are vulnerable, to stress. So that have been shown to be very, very important. Of course, aerobic component too, but the strengthening and balance exercise have been key. And the other component is nutrition. Many of these frail patients, their nutrition is not optimal. And in many aspects, they don't have enough micronutrients and vitamin component in the nutrition, or proteins. They have a hypoproteic diet, many of them. So one of the key elements of frailty, of phenotype, or the characteristic of this disease, is that people have less muscle mass. So in order to build this muscle, you need a good intake of protein. So nutrition, do a full evaluation of the nutrition and the diet aspect of the individual, plus the exercise, are as today the most important intervention. Yes, there is other issues, like a patient with multiple comorbidities, to be sure that all these diseases are under control. And also many patients are in polypharmacy. So reviewing of the medication that they are taking, and to be sure that they are in the right dose, that they don't have the side effects, and they are not interfering one of them, and try to simplify the list of medication. It's amazing. I have patients that come to the practice with 2 or 3 pages of medication, and they don't need it, but they keep adding, and nobody have sat with the patient and review that. And all of these together feed the condition of frailty.
How about supplements? Do you get into much of different types of supplements that could be used to help, or not? Yes,
in this patient, protein supplement, it could be good. Vitamin D have been shown, also calcium and vitamin D, because help with bone health and muscle. So they have been important too, calcium, vitamin D, and protein intake. Yes.
What about mindset? Now, I'm wearing my shirt, the glad to be here mindset, right? Where does the psychological side, the mindset, because if you're frail or just depressed or feeling just not good, it's hard to say go out and exercise, right? Because so what do you do to get over that? I just want to lay in bed or watch TV.
No, and this is very, very, it's a good question, very important. And in our cardiac rehabilitation program, one of the aspects that we evaluate in all our patients that are participating in the program is the psychosocial element. When I say psychosocial is we look for depression, anxiety, stress, and there is some specific test and questionnaire that they can fill up and give us more objective data. But also, the clinical judgment, when you interact with the patient and read and see the body language beside the words, then you can have a feeling too if there is depression, anxiety, or stress in their life. And also the social elements, the family support, friend support, work support. So we take in consideration those aspects and we intervene if we detect that there is any element, because we know that is very, very important. Patient with depression, anxiety, or stress, the risk or the mortality after, let's say, myocardial infarction increased compared with patients that they had the same myocardial infarction, but they didn't have any of these psychosocial elements. So we know that is important. So in our patient, depend of the severity of the issue, we either connect them with a psychologist and connect them or psychiatric if the patient need a medication to help. But also we have a lot of stress control, anxieties, relaxation technique. We discuss with them, breathing, relax, take time during the day, at least, and disconnect for a few minutes, 20, 30 minutes during the day. Close your light, close your door or your office, and just put your mind on blank and mindful set. So think about it. You said mindset. Think every activity that you are doing, feel it, enjoy it. So bringing this aspect. And in our program also, we're not doing now because of the COVID restriction. Hopefully we're going to reach that. But we were doing Tai Chi.
Oh, you were Tai Chi?
Patient
I love
it.
Tai Chi.
Yes, I love it too. And actually, Tai Chi, besides help you with relaxation and mindset, is also helping with balance, incredible, and strength. It's a good way to do functional strengthening exercise, so that will improve the ability for the individual to perform the activities of daily living. Remember, not everybody wants to run a marathon. Some of our patients, they want to be able to go upstairs, downstairs, to play with their grandchildren, and how we can help them to do that. Individualized goals.
Why is Tai Chi so good? Because I've noticed, that it moves, seems like it's moving energy in your body, right? Besides the exercise, besides the movement, I feel this, what's it called? Chi, right? That actually moves in your body. Is that something that, what's your thoughts on that? The idea.
Well, when we do Tai Chi, when we focus more in the slow and performance of the movement in a way that you improve the neuromuscular control. I'm thinking more in that your brain is able to control the movement of your muscle and your joint and your whole body to improve your balance. But at the same time, because of the slowly of the movement, the concentration that you have and again, as you said, you concentrate in your energy and having your energy in your body, we have noticed also that positively affect the blood pressure decrease. Yeah. So there is some objective, if you feeling well, there is some objective parameter that we have noticed. We have some tested to assess balance, and we can see that the balance improve. And we have some testing to assess speed of gait and ability for the patient to do some movement, and those also improve. And the blood pressure improve. So that's there is some objective marker also that show huge improvement with the patient perform Tai Chi. So I'm a believer, and I recommended the patient to do that as they can. Now you can have a video, you can connect it, using your computer and have the class in your home. You don't have to go as before to go to a specific class. And this is something that is important. And John, you don't have to let's say I have patients say, well, my balance is good. I basically can walk without a cane. You can do it sitting Tai Chi. And
Ah,
yes, and bring the same benefit in relaxation and in balance. Patient then can progress to standing Tai Chi, but sitting Tai Chi also. There is a nice video showing that how to do it.
well, we do. I have a client that once a week we do some leadership training with, and we always do some meditation. So this focus exercise, breathing, and chair yoga. So just what you're saying, doing yoga in a chair or Tai Chi, right? And I just love that. It really changes the meeting when we started off with a focus exercise and then some chair yoga, bam. It's amazing how people get really focused and energized. Hey, let's now pivot for a second to like high performance, right? So let's say you got an athlete who comes in and once they're strong, they feel good, but they want to take their game to the next level. How do you address someone like that? What would you suggest they do?
So if we're talking about competitive athletes,
yes,
what we have a specific program where we review their current exercise routine, the nutrition,
okay, so
and also observe. Yeah, nutrition is very important for next level, and also their habit that they have. I mean, hour sleeping when they go to sleep, amount of water that they drink during the day. So the whole package. But one of the things in terms of exercise, we observe then performing their sport, the specific sport. And then we have individuals with us, coach and trainer, that they know the technique of a specific sport. And then we can improve based on what we observe with video and analyze every movement. We can review if there is any aspect of the technique that need to be improved, and also what muscle they need to strengthen for this specific sport. So we can focus in more, we can have a strengthening exercise focusing more in the specific muscles. So it's more elaborate. You go beyond the classic or the general exercise prescription, which is 5 days a week, try to be active 30 to 40 minutes a day, strengthening, stretching, exercise, and balance. Here you are focusing more on the specific sport, specific technique, what is targeting specific muscle, nutrition, depending on the sport, and also the stretching, the flexibility, that's depending on the sport. That is very important, and people forget about that.
Yeah, so I'm finding flexibility and strength together are the key, right? Not just getting physically strong, but keeping that flexibility. But you mentioned something earlier I want to tap into is the recovery, right? And sleep being part of recovery. How should I think about recovery in my body? And you mentioned the cells. Earlier you said every single cell should get exercised. How do I do that? How do I exercise every cell in my body?
But by combining all strengthening, stretching, balance, and aerobic exercise. And I tell patients, I tell not only patients, this should apply for everybody.
Yes.
Exercise, combine the exercise. So don't run every day, don't bike every day, don't do elliptical every day. Combine the exercise, the aerobic component of the exercise, and this it will allow to have different group muscle and different areas of your body working. So that is one of the recommendations that I give. Now, going back to sleeping, the many studies have all show, and we all agree then, that between 7 or 9 hours is the good time sleeping. And
I like the 9 hours, by the way. You know that they always say, everyone, I get up at 5 a.m. and I work out and I do all this. I'm finding that if I can get 9 hours of rest, I really enjoy it. But that means I got to go to bed earlier to do that.
Yes,
so
yes.
Where does that 7 to 9 come from, and how should
just a study that show, taking consideration, evaluating patients that have different sleep pattern, and then reviewing long-term their medical condition, comorbidity, mortality, and then they have shown that people that sleep between 7 and 9 hours, they want to live longer, that they have less comorbidities, less medical issues. Yeah. And the other thing is the siesta. So
Oh, really?
everybody, yeah. So when people say the Mediterranean diet, people in Mediterranean, yeah, but one component of the Mediterranean is more than the diet, is the overall lifestyle. And one of the aspects that they have is the nap, the siesta. So this is also is recommended. If you can disconnect, you don't have to go to sleep. You really to disconnect yourself for at least 30 minutes a day. That's the benefit on your mortality, cardiovascular event or diseases is tremendous. Blood pressure, yeah. So it's great. So, and that is something that probably is more difficult to do it in our daily life. But we, and I'm one of the person that is not doing that, the siesta, but I have many of my colleagues, they at noon, they put a sign in the door, say, please do not disturb. They turn off the light, they turn off the telephone, everything, and they just sit on their chair and disconnect themselves. It's not relaxation, it's not meditation, anything, it's just blank. Yeah, for 20, 30 minutes.
Wow. You know, that's so powerful. I notice in my schedule, if I book meetings hour to hour, and I know you see so many patients, you're going from one patient to another, but getting a little bit of a break in there makes such a huge difference in how I show up. And you're saying even take like 25 minutes, a half hour in the middle of your day and just unplug, right? Don't check email, right? You're not talking about that, right? You're talking about just sitting down, relaxing, maybe even getting in touch with your breathing, presence, these kinds of things, right?
That's it. Any other thought? Yes, no other thoughts, just yourself. No thinking about, your vacation or no, just completely, you can be blank. That is the best.
Interesting.
So, and also in terms of work performance, there are also studies showing that, yeah, we work like 10 hours a day, no stopping. And you compare with people in Europe that work 8 hours, they have maybe they work the 10 hours, but they have 2 hours during the day where they go and have lunch, connect with friends, have a good conversation. Their performance is better or superior than our performance working no stopping. So
yeah, I love going over to Europe when the shops shut down for 2 hours, right?
Yeah,
sometimes 4 hours, right? And they close to 4 and then they're up into 10 p.m., but it's a whole different vibe.
It's enough, but I think it's key. This break during the day where you connect with friend and family. So that's key. And even if you can go to your home and have lunch with your family, because everybody is free. School also closed. I remember in Venezuela, my classes were from 8 to 12 to 5.
Oh, really?
That was my hours time. So I have from 12 to 2 every day free time, and I went to it took me maybe 15 minutes walking from my school to my home. So I went, I have lunch with my parents. We watched a little bit of the news. I had time even to have my nap. At that time I had nap.
Yeah.
And if it was too hot, I even could have another shower and then go back to medical school or go back to work, to a school. The medical school also have it was 1 hour, but 1 hour break, that was no classes, nothing, no meeting, nothing. That it was the time for you to recharge your batteries and energy.
Carmen, thanks. There's so much for all the really practical advice. I mean, you said exercise. It's the best pill, right? Where it's not even a pill. I mean, it's the best thing we can do for ourselves. Let's just talk real quickly about, though, I know your husband, Andre, and you are on the cutting edge of some of these stem cells, regenerative medicine, right? What can you tell us about regenerative medicine? How is that playing into this overall mind-body health that we're looking for?
So interesting. There is some study also showing that if you are under stress or under, inflammatory milieu in your body, your production of your inner stem cell is decreased, or the stem cell doesn't work as good as the stem cell that are in a body with more healthy body. So they also respond to any type of cell respond to this factor or environment. So yes, I think personally, I think the stem cell is starting now, but it will be one of the most important arsenal of medicine in the future. And I think it will be important for us to fully understand not so much how we can bring a stem cell from outside and put it in your body, but how we can booster your own stem cell, because now we didn't know that in the past, but we know now that almost every single organ in your body have stem cell. So they have their own inner stem cell, a reservoir of stem cell that we don't understand what they are doing there. We believe that they are there to repair when it's needed, but there is some occasion, like for the heart, we know that there is a stem cell in the heart, but when we have a massive heart attack, people die. So the question is, what happened with those stem cells? So how we can boost, how we can nurture our stem cell, our inner capacity of healing. And that's, I think, will be the next step within this stem cell science, how we can boost that. And I'm a believer that in the future, we will reach knowledge how to do that we will be able to do the thing that we need to do to have our stem cell ready to help us repair. And if it's not the case, I think that we will be able to use those stem cell technology and to create, let's say, organs outside your body that can be brought back to your body to replace when it's needed. So I think it will take a few years, but I think that we are going in the right direction.
Wow. I mean,
there is already some aspect medicine that they are using stem cell transplant when there is a type of blood cancer like leukemia. So it's already people have been done this, physicians have been done this for many years, nothing new. So already there is some application with a huge success of the stem cell technology.
Well, and let's tap into, because I just did not know until you just said that it's more about the stem cells that are already in our bodies, right? I was just at a VC conference and they were talking about this new technology where they were taking your blood, and I don't know I was just listening, right? This idea of taking certain DNA, I guess, I don't know if there's even stem cells, but the blood, the chromosomes, the DNA, and then being able to do what you just said is actually to grow organs. So how do we do that? Is it out of the stem cell? I mean, what's happening with the blood there that you can actually grow an organ?
So I specifically what you're talking, not sure what they were mentioning, but the idea is you can create a stem cell from your own body. So one of the Nobel Prize, it was given to a group of physicians. The leader is Dr. Yamanaka from Japan, where he showed that if you take, let's say, cells from your skin, take a skin biopsy, take those cells, and do some type of reprogramming of this cell with some specific factor, you can convert this cell to a stem cell type cell. And those stem cells there are your own stem cell from your own body. Then if you modify this cell or apply the right condition to this cell can differentiate to different other type of cell. So let's say that the idea is, in the future, is that let's say that you need a heart, but there is not enough donors for heart transplant. And on top of that, if you have a heart transplanted from another person, you are, for the rest of your life, you have to receive many medications to prevent rejection. And those medications have considerable side effects. So how do you avoid that? So the lack of organs and also the complication after transplant. So one of the vision is that you take cell from your skin, you convert this cell in stem cell, and then from stem cells, you convert this cell in vitro, outside your body, you convert this cell in cardiomyocyte, and you can create a heart. It's your own heart because it's coming from your own cells. have your own DNA, so there's not going to be rejection. And then this heart, you put it back on your body. Now you say, well, the heart's complicated, it's an organ, have many structure, many elements, but maybe you can create a patch of tissue. And then you can replace a piece of the heart that died during an infarct. You can replace that area of the heart by this patch of tissue that was created outside, or the same in other. Let's say you lost your skin because you had, or you lost your muscle because you have a huge injury, war injury. So can we create patches of tissue outside your body using your own cells that were converted in stem cell type, and then bring it back to your body? So that's I think is the vision, is what we would like to achieve with the use of stem cell.
And do we know how long in the future this is going to be?
It's difficult, yes. It's difficult. Yeah. It's stem cell have been there for many, many years. I mean, the knowledge of a stem cell and stem cell biology and some studies from the 50s. But I would say that starting in 1999, 2000s, when there have been a huge interest and revolution, and more labs and people devoted to understand stem cell biology and to see what are the possible applications for healing, recovery, or replacement. And one of the big breakthrough was this group of scientists in Japan, with Dr. Yamanaka leading, showing how you can create stem cell from your body, so you don't have to use an embryo, to use any other source of stem cell, because the stem cell can be obtained from your own cells. So I think it will evolve, will continue to evolve, and it's difficult to put a time. Hopefully by this century we will have that technology available, but it's difficult. I mean, there is many applications that they are doing for, as I say, skin, for muscle, joint. So now they are taking, it's not really stem cell, but because of the idea of stem cell, people are understanding other cells that we have in our body that are known to carry components that are anti-inflammatory or healing, that promote healing. So how we can take those components of those cells, of those structure, and then redirect it, re-inject it, or redirect it in areas of your body that are on need, like a bad knee because of bad cartilage or meniscus. So they're doing that now, yes. And
they actually are. They're able to do meniscus now, to put in meniscus.
No, I mean to put into the joint to help with individuals with meniscal problem. Yeah,
I know. I've had a few of those, and they do help, and they do work, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I had myself too, and it helps.
Yeah. Oh, I love the technology. What drives your passion these days? You're involved in so many different things. Besides dancing, what is your passion these days?
So I'm directing now the cardiovascular rehabilitation program. So I really would like to bring this program to the next level, in the sense that COVID have taught us that things can change, and change very, very, very fast. And at the same time, told us that we can provide a good care, medical care, to individuals here, there, and everywhere, individuals that have limited access to medical care or difficulties to come to us. We can come to them using the technology. So that knowledge, that experience that we developed in a short period of time with COVID, you're providing telecare, I want to start applying a more regular basis, an organized basis in cardiac rehabilitation. So one of the main issues to cardiac rehab is that after you have, let's say, a heart attack, you need, in order for the program to really bring the outcome that we want, which is decreased mortality, morbidity, and prevent that you have another cardiac event, the ideal is that you come and exercise with us several times, 36 times plus. But some people it's very difficult. I mean, you don't have access to transportation, you have to work. So if you are a mother with children that you have to take care of home, how can you do that? And many people, I mean, like only 25% of people do cardiac rehab, despite knowing that the impact of cardiac rehabilitation in mortality is huge. I mean, it can decrease by almost 45% the mortality of patients after having a cardiac event if you participate in this program. And despite that, only 25 nation and worldwide, only around 25% participate of people that are eligible, they participate in this program. So we're missing a lot. So we are, and one of the reasons we're missing is, as I mentioned before, people have difficulties to come to the program because of their life. So what I put in my passion and my energy now is how we can create a program that provide the same quality of care in a safe way, of course, when the patient is at home. So the patient doesn't have to come to us, so we can provide that. And you would say, well, it's simply, we can do, you know, what we're doing now, a Zoom visit, and no, but we want at the same time to be able to collect information, let's say when the patient exercise, to check his blood pressure while they're exercising, his heart rate, his electrocardiogram to be sure that the heart is doing well, to be able to react if we detect that there is an issue while the patient is exercising. No, when the patient is face-to-face, we stop the exercise, we evaluate the patient, and if there is an emergency, well, we take care of that. How do we do it when we are at home? How we create the infrastructure that we can detect that there is an issue and immediately help and can arrive to the house. So it's a complex, it's not so simple, but this is what I would like to do, that the patient have a portfolio option. You can either come to us to exercise, you can either do it virtually, or you can do a mix. You can come and then do it virtually, and provide the education component of the cardiac rehab program in a virtual way as a group, because this is another thing. Now we are doing face-to-face, and sometimes it's one-to-one interaction when we talk about nutrition, diet, or relaxation, stress. What about if we do it more in a type of Zoom meeting? So that an exercise like in a group, I think that the adherence to the program, and it will be much, much better. We talk about how we are social animals. So I think that I will be happier exercising with 10 more other people in the screen that suffering like me in the screen, that being alone, you know, in a gym or in an exercise on the cardiac program, that being with many people. Also discuss about nutrition, diet, when I want to listen the barriers that people have to implement all the nutritional changes, because it's easier to tell people what to eat and how to eat, but implement it is more difficult. So I think that is what I put in my passion from a professional point of view. Yeah.
Wow. Well, and you can scale and help so many people that way. I'm blown away.
That's the reason I call here, there, and everywhere. Like the Beatles song. Yeah, Beatles are, Beatles my favorite group. So
well, I think Peloton was a good example of people want to exercise together, right?
Yeah. I didn't want to say the name because I didn't want to
I'm with you.
Promotion, but
I'm not either.
The idea.
No connection to them, but the idea of actually being in a group and doing that. And the other thing I've noticed, and tell me if research shows this, getting outside seems to help me. When you talked about activity and you talked about movement, I just got back from skate skiing. So Carol and I were skiing up in Canada here 4 days ago, and we just got back, and I just took a skate ski. And even though it was -1 degrees below, right? But I'm out there with the dogs and I'm moving. And sure enough, people are coming by and you're able to say hi. And I'm just going, wow. I mean, it's not just the heart that was feeling better. It was the whole experience. Looking
social
at
interaction.
Yeah. Has there been any studies on nature and why, it feels so good to be outside at the beach or in the mountains?
Not that I know. I'm so sure that there must have been there are studies showing why, but no, for sure just listening the sea, the water, the wave, the animals, just give you some relaxation. I was recently in South Africa, and I was in a place that at night, the only thing that, not at night, but during the sunset, at the sunset time, the only sound that you could hear was the bird going ready to go to sleep. And it really creates so much relaxation. In the beginning, I thought there was a music background about birth, but no, it was real birth. It was unbelievable. So again, the sounds of nature, I think that it just produce relaxation in your body, a sensation of relax and well-being. And for sure, I must be activating some neurohormones as well. But I cannot tell you exactly how.
Well, we know it works. Yeah. I mean, you can feel it, right? Hey, to wrap up, I've got two questions, and thank you for all your time. And it's interesting to me how we got full circle to activity or exercise, but this activity, this movement, and also the psychosocial aspect of our lives. I loved I'm going to take you up on it to do my New Year's Eve challenge for a week, to talk to strangers, right? To start to talk to strangers. But to me, it's the little things we can do every day, right? And our mindsets that can help us physically and mentally. And then when you talked about what's going on with the stem cells and the cells in our body, and it just blew my mind on what's possible. How do you see the future of I guess just healthcare? How do you see that happening?
I think it's going to really have a tremendous change in a sense that the telecare will play an important role in how we provide care. And the challenge is that for us, I think patients are ready to receive that. For us, how we're going to provide the same quality of care. And how can we differentiate it when it's important for the patient to come face to face? It's easier. You need a surgery, of course. Patient need to come and have the surgery. But I'm talking more about other cases when you say, yes, I need to see you because there's other thing that we will be able to get better information. We see each other, we connect each other face to face. So how we can do that? That's in the one sense, how we can personalize more the medicine, because many patients will say, yes, I will prefer telecare, but I am so sure many other will say, no, I want to see. We have patients, no, I want to see you. I want to hear you. Yeah. I don't want to receive a note or text message or a portal message telling me how I did in the test. I want to talk with you. I want to answer the question. So how we can personalize, how we can allow the patient to decide how they want to the care be delivered. So the patient playing an important role in this team approach, how we take care of you. So I think that this will be the big challenge. We know that we can do it, but how we're going to deliver to provide the same quality of care. And one of the vision that I have in medicine is that we will know you. We will be able to use all the technology like artificial intelligence and machine learning, and be able to, the moment that you're born, knowing your genetic and family history and background, we will be able to predict or at least be prepared for a specific condition, knowing where you are more susceptible or risk for any condition, and provide preventive medicine. So the idea is that when we have to cure or to provide medicine to a patient, it's a failure of medicine. Yeah. We should be able to prevent all of these conditions, and we should be able to prevent since the moment that you are born. And that is what I think will be a challenge, but I think that we can achieve that with medical knowledge and also with the use of artificial intelligence.
Beautiful, beautiful. Carmen, what are some sayings? I always like to hear any words of advice that you want to end on that go with maybe it was from your mom or your dad, or a saying or a mantra that you use yourself. What are some of those that you use yourself?
I like, again, it's not something that I create myself. I took it from Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah.
Who was the singer? What was that?
Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry, be happy.
Be happy.
Yeah, I think that you have to be realistic, but I think that we need more optimism. And in people from Venezuela, I will never forget a comment that one of very known writer, Isabel Allende, she's originally from Chile. She wrote, she lived in Venezuela many years because she was exiled during the political turnover of Chile in the 70s. So she had to go to Venezuela. And she was completely surprised of the way that we live in Venezuela. And she defined us as an irrational optimist.
What kind of optimist?
Irrational.
Irrational
yes,
optimist.
because sometimes doesn't make sense. You're optimistic, you are dying and you still are optimistic. So she defined us, but she loved it. She said, that is unbelievable, but I love it. And they are happy. And now I understand why the Venezuelan, at that time, they look happy because they are irrational optimistic.
That's perfect. I'm going to use that. That's what I want to be. I want to be irrationally optimistic.
Yeah. And that's it. Don't worry, be happy. And there is a movie, just to finish that, in the same context, there is a movie called Marigold Hotel, I think.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yes.
Do you remember what he said several times? At the end, everything will be right. And if it's not right yet, it's because it's not the end.
Oh.
Do you remember that? At the end, everything will be right. Don't worry. And if it's not right, now it's because still not the end.
Those are two precious takeaways.
Yeah. We need a little bit of that. But again, I think that you have to be, of course, objective sometimes. Yeah. But I think that optimism, you should not lose. Nobody should lose optimism either in a difficult situation.
Yes. And even every day, right? Even difficult, but every day. Wow. I want to end with a glad to be here. I'm going to let you finish. I'm so grateful, Carmen, that our paths have crossed many times. I'm so grateful for what you have done, not only for me and family, but for what you're doing for the world out there and the people. And thanks for sharing your passion and your love. I mean, right there at the end, it's that optimism. And then when you combine the science behind it, it really changes lives. So I want to thank you for making a big difference in my life and everyone else's. And I'm deeply glad to know you. Over to you, please.
And I'm glad to be here. And I'm very, very, very glad and happy to have known you too. And you said that you learned from me. No, I learned from you. I did really learn a lot. I'm so grateful that when our path crossed the first time that you were able to come here, you help us. Not help me, but I'm grateful that you gave your knowledge, your experience, your word of wisdom, and help my team at that time to really go to the next level. And they're still talking about you. I'm very grateful that you are our friend, and you, in the moment of need, you were there. I'm very, very grateful that we had the chance, the opportunity, and the pleasure to spend time together outside of work.
Yes.
in Greece.
That
was wonderful as well, and it's helped me to recharge my batteries. So thank you very much for being my friends, for being there when I needed. I'm glad to be today here with you, and I see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you, Carmen. Yeah, we'll see you in Vail.
Yes, in a few weeks.
Glad to be here.
Thank you very much.
Bye.